The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah. Go Cowboys!
This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your hosts, Barry Church, Hek'ma Harrison, and Newy Scruggs.
Players Lounge coming your way via Aristocrat Gaming here at the SWBC Podcast Studios in Frisco, Texas, home of the Dallas Cowboys, the Crews, Hek'ma Harrison, Barry Church, former Dallas Cowboys safety. I am Bruce Scruggs, as we dive into a whole lot of topics.
Say Drake.
Yes, the Eagles are Super Bowl champions, as Hek'ma predicted, as Barry Church, you predicted that they would be Super Bowl champions. Hek'ma, you had Philadelphia winning 35-24.
Yeah.
That was big, man. Church, I don't know where you were, but you did.
I did pick Philly.
Pick Philly to win. So there you go. So good on you. Good on you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I picked Kansas City, and
Which was confusing. I'm gonna go back to it because you rode so hard, not just with Jalen Hurts, but just with what Howie Roseman and the Eagles were doing from the beginning of season. You rode with them, and when it got down to the end, you something happened.
I'll redo it again.
You got some information.
No, I'll read it. And I said, the Eagles with their defense. I love the defense.
It was crazy.
But I didn't trust the coaching, taking Andy Reid over Nick Sirianni, and Patrick Mahomes being Patrick Mahomes. When has Mahomes lost these types of games? It was when Tom Brady, be it when he was in New England and when he was in Tampa, that's when and I said, until I see it happen, I got to keep rolling with him. Despite knowing that, usually number one defense, Saquon Barkley, that usually gets you done from a butt. And I was wrong, and you know what? There's two things that happen out of this. One, happy for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
All the negative stuff that it was, pretty fun when you go on social media and all the people who were killing this kid. Killing this kid, man. I mean,
Why are you looking at me like that?
It's
Prop dope. Why you looking at me like that, dog?
Nasty work. What just you? You
Prop dope.
You were in the mob.
He was right
You're like the January 6th folks going after.
Hey, yo, no. That's what you're not gonna do. Back up. Hold up. I was not scaling the wall, bro.
In the rotunda.
Hold up. Newy, now you come. See, but you be hitting low.
Killing Jalen Hurts.
You be hitting low, bro.
Everybody killing that black quarterback. Yeah, DEI. Yeah, they was hitting on him.
Dope.
So definitely happy for the kid. Yes, make Sci-Fi Man proud. But also just for the fact that when the first time when the Eagles played the Patriots, I picked them to win. It's like, okay, maybe if this happens, the man upstairs who owns and the general manager, maybe that'll just kind of, hey man, we need to spend money. Spend some money.
Got to.
Because Eagles spending some money. Spend some money. So what did the Eagles, when you saw them win, are you okay?
I'm good.
You straight?
Okay. I'm okay now. Okay. Thank you for the question.
How many times Eagle been to the Super Bowl now? The past couple of years?
3 times.
3 times.
Damn.
2 out of 3 with two different coaches.
Yeah.
2 different coaches. 2 different quarterbacks.
That's a lot.
2 different sets of running backs. Basically different defensive line.
Yeah.
2 different teams, kind of. If you think about it.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what happened when you spend a little bread, man.
Yeah. So they hired Doug Peterson, Nick Sirianni.
Yeah. And look where it got them, man. It got them to the promise.
During that time, you had, Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy.
But you had a guy here.
Yeah.
You had a guy.
You fired. No. You
here.
Fired. You didn't just had him here. You told him to get out the building. Get out here. Don't get out the building. And he got fired at the next job he went to.
He did do that too.
Then he went to Philadelphia and ends up being the offensive coordinator.
Come on, dude. Come on now. Come on now.
But
come on now. We got a long way to go, guys. So y'all gonna start off like this?
Whoa. I wasn't sold on it.
I wasn't sold on it.
But what can I say now? I can't say that now, man. I can't say that now.
What's wrong, Heck? What's the issue?
Listen, okay. You were about to ask a question. You got sidetracked.
Yes, I did.
You were asking a
Because
question.
I got to let him get his flowers.
What
Okay.
happened?
Gotta let him get his
I
flowers.
want to know what happened. Can we talk about what happened?
Look, I will say this. It's hard to mess up something.
Oh,
No, wait a minute. It's hard to make
All right,
mistakes.
Go ahead.
When you have a running game that allows you to be balanced, allows you, you're a defensive guy, so you absolutely saw what play action was doing to Kansas City.
Can we keep
we are. I'm keeping it a bean right
this
now.
Is the players' lounge,
Look,
dog.
I tell you what, this is what he did. Wow. He did not get fancy. He stayed within himself.
Wow.
He played. He stayed true to the scheme.
Yeah.
And he didn't go double reverse, flea flicker, anything crazy. And I give Kellen credit for that. He did not go away from it.
Preach.
He carved them up. He exposed a lot of what Kansas City's defense had been doing all season.
Well.
Okay, but he didn't get fancy. And what have we seen Kellen do over the years? Get too fancy.
Joystick.
Abandon the run. He stuck to it even with 30 yards in the first half. He still stuck to the run, and he still allowed for Jalen Hurts to do exactly what was in his wheelhouse and make the throws. Not crazy throws, but exploit the one-on-ones. He did that the entire game.
Nick Sirianni told him what to do, and he did it.
Wow. So we can't.
So Kellen, no, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that Kellen, through the playoffs, they went through a gauntlet also. And so through the playoffs, man, he played it straight to his vest. He didn't do anything tricky. And I think that having Saquon Barkley as a running back really benefited him. I mean, we can't ignore that.
Do you look at the number, rushing yards? I can't remember what it was during the game, but it was like the most we'd ever seen in a season when you added all of the games up.
2,500 yards.
Yes, they played one. They played one more regular season game, but just from the standpoint of what he did, Kellen Moore did a good job in making sure they stayed with. This is what we do. We run the ball. This was something that had been used against him, that he flipped the script, and he's now the head coach for the New Orleans Saints. So what he was told he wasn't and could not do almost fit along there with Jalen Hurts. Hey, they say we're this. We've just showed you we're that. And for the rest of their lives, nobody can say Jalen Hurts and Kellen Moore can't do it.
Yeah.
They've
I
done
appreciate
it.
it, fellas. That's all
So
I
you
wanted.
get your flowers.
I just wanted y'all to say the man did a good
They
job.
did your flowers.
He did a great job.
Hey, he did a wonderful job not messing it up.
As an offensive coordinator, he did exactly what a great offensive coordinator would do out
And
there.
I give him credit for that because so many times we've seen people who have done that very thing and messed it up.
Oh, we can go through the gauntlet. Look at the Baltimore Ravens when they get to the playoffs. They think this offensive coordinator thinks he's too good for this, that, and the third. We're going to switch everything up. You look at the Kansas City Chiefs even with Andy Reid. You run the ball 3 times.
He was. Hold on. Wait. Hey, hold on. Andy knew from the first quarter he couldn't run the ball.
So did Philly.
Hey,
he had 25 rushes for 57
You can't run the ball. And if you try to run the ball.
Look what happened. You got 40 burger on you, multiple interceptions.
Hey.
You gotta have some type of balance.
If they would have tried to run the ball, they got to be 60-20.
I don't know.
You know what?
I don't
Got
know.
to be down.
I'll just say, if they tried to run the ball, it would not have been as bad because they'd have used more of the clock. So,
Okay.
but you were still losing that game because that number one defense on all 3 levels just came.
Oh, that was unreal.
I mean, Vic Fangio had
He had a plan.
He had the answers to the test.
Vic, and let's stick.
Ain't that the same?
Hey, hold on. But Vic Fangio,
He
the
had the
blueprint, the blueprint.
did, bro.
Hey, but
it's the Cowboys.
hey,
Blueprint
look,
number 2, baby.
but how hard is it? How hard is it when you have Jalen Carter in the middle of your defense being triple teamed? Sweat is eating. Guys on the outside. I mean, come on. When you got a guy that's a space eater like that, that's what you need. That's when we say our 1 technique, our 3 technique. Look no further than what they're doing in Philly in the middle of their defense.
Which leads me back to what I was going to ask. When you watch this game, what did you see from their football team that won a world championship that you say, okay, this is where the Cowboys need to look at, because the first thing you have to do is try to win your division.
Absolutely. Right away.
Got to do that.
Yeah. Philadelphia
is the standard. Washington is coming up right behind Philadelphia. And to me, it's the D-line. I have harped on this since last year doing this show. You brought in Mike Zimmer. You didn't have what Mike Zimmer needed up front at all. He liked big people. You didn't have big people. Then when the people they brought in, these dudes off couches, couldn't really give you much. They gave you what they could. I'm not going to get mad at them. You're going to be mad at them. Be mad at folks that hired them. Right. Philadelphia's front four was able to get after Patrick Mahomes and allow Zach Bond and Cooper DeJean to do what they did.
Absolutely.
The Cowboys still have an issue, in my opinion, on the defensive line where we're talking about these tackles and the ability to stop the run and create pressure.
In the same vein that you're talking about, you draft to beat your division. I'm looking at that game and I'm saying to any draft expert for the Dallas Cowboys that's talking about Ashton Genty or any wide receiver in their first two picks, first three, I'm like, you're delusional. You're not watching what's happening in the NFC East right now. If you're not talking offensive or defensive line with those first two picks, then you're missing the boat, because what's going to happen next year, that young defensive line that is already a Super Bowl champion, they're doing nothing but gaining more confidence. They're going to come to the table now. Howie Roseman doesn't have anything to do but add more pieces to what he already has. And we are compromised. You look at where we are. Zach Martin talking about he will come back, or he's thinking about whatever it is. Where you are at the center position, where you are on the offense at the left and right tackle position, you're compromised in every way. Coming into a new regime with a new coach, if you do not solidify free agent, draft, offensive line, and defensive line, you're fooling yourself.
It's a wrap. And to me, I go back to something I said a couple of weeks ago. One side of the ball has to become the option that you go with. I'm not saying it has to be dominant, but it has to be head and shoulder above the other side, because you have too many holes on both sides of this football team to be able to say, all right, we're going to do it all at once. We're going to fill both sides. It's just not going to work out that way. You've got to pick a side that you want to be dominant and you want to lean this football team on. And for me, I'm with Newy on this one when you talk about the defensive line. I mean, you got a star in Parsons. We all understand that. But outside of Parsons, you got to figure something else out. Because we know that one man cannot just, defeat the NFC East. You got to have some help on that side. And to me, you got to make sure you figure out that defensive line or offensive line, because that's where games are won, which is in the trenches.
So let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk about some additions that they've made in the coaching staff. And let's start diving into what we're talking about, your big concern, your offensive line, and being able to get right in the trenches on both sides. But we'll start on offense, then we'll flip it later on in defense here as we talk about the Cowboys moving forward with Hek'ma Harrison, Barry Church. I'm Newy Scruggs. This is the Players Lounge, brought to you by Aristocrat Gaming on DallasCowboys.com.
Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Kyle Yeomans here, sharing that same team that brought you Buffalo, bringing NFL casino games that show America's team on and off the reels. Aristocrat is changing the game with a new experience. Football fans, this means you can pick your team and play your team. Check out the Cowboys-themed casino games developed by Aristocrat, a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Gambling problem? Please contact the U.S. National Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER for 21 and over.
Dallas Cowboys Game Day is brought to you by Captain Morgan, the official spiced rum of the NFL. The NFL season is full of legendary tales on and off the field. And when you follow the captain within you, stories become stuff of legends. So gather your crew and visit followthecaptain.com to begin your adventure. Please drink responsibly. Captain Morgan Original Spiced Rum, 35% alcohol by volume. Captain Morgan Rum Company, New York, New York.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Raising Cane's presents the other rules of football. Rule 1, any broadcast without the express addition of cooked-to-order Cane's chicken fingers is prohibited. Rule 12, no crinkle-cut fries, Texas toast, or craveable Cane's sauce constitutes an illegal formation. And Rule 31, anybody who loves to feed their game face is an eligible receiver of Cane's. When it comes to winning game day, Cane's rules. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Go Cowboys.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Come on out to AT&T Stadium on February 22nd for the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship Series. Watch the world's best two-wheel racers converge for one night on a nonstop action. Enjoy unprecedented access to the sport's biggest stars with an up-close view of their race bikes and team rigs at FanFest. Tickets are on sale now at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing partner of AT&T Stadium.
Thank you, Hek'ma Harrison. Some sports are just better when you're there. TV doesn't do it justice. There you go. All right, Hek'ma Harrison is in the house. We got Barry Church, former Cowboy safety. I'm Newy Scruggs. Players Lounge brought to you by Aristocrat Gaming. All right. We're talking about the offensive line and talking about trying to get yourself straight on the trench because you're looking at, we're kind of basing this off Philadelphia winning the Super Bowl. What are some things you need to do? Because this is the standard right now in the league, and how you do it, you got to win your division. So Brian Schottenheimer, the new head coach, who wants to run the football, that is his history.
Okay.
Is bringing in offensive coordinator Clayton Adams, who's the O-line coach at Arizona. They wanted to run the ball there. Their offensive line coach is Connor Riley, who worked at Kansas State. Kansas State, Hek'ma's played up there. I was at a game this year up there. They run. They're good up front. Cooper Beebe, your starting center, is a guy that Riley has some work with, so they're going to run the football. Your concern was the offensive line. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they're going to use a top 2 draft pick on an offensive lineman. You have so many holes.
Yeah.
What Brian Schottenheimer and Clayton Adams and Connor Riley are saying, let's look at what we have. How do we make it better? They're not going to give up on Guyton.
No, not yet.
Okay, you're not. You use the first round pick on him, and I think if you get Will McClay one-on-one, he'll talk about it and say we thought this was a project. We like the player, and if I just try to be Mr. Positivity,
okay, all right,
go ahead.
They tell you the biggest growth is from year 1 to year 2. The process now for Guyton has to be, number 1, look at himself. Are you going to do the work that needs to be done to get better, get stronger? Do those things on him. Then the other part is the coaches. How do the coaches help unlock what his talent is? Terrence Steele's another question. Does this coaching change help him? If you look at what Arizona had, they had a mix. You know, they had some highly drafted guys. They had some veterans. You know, they had a mix of guys. It wasn't just like, hey man, here's Zach Martin. You know, we got here's Travis Frederick and here's Tyrus. We got 3 number 1 guys. They didn't have all that. So figure out how you make that mix work, because a lot of teams have made it work.
Yeah,
mixing it. So to me, that right there, Hek'ma, is what do these 3 men do in terms of what they have for right now?
I think ideally you come into every game telling yourself that you could run the ball. The Cowboys came with that approach last season, and they quickly found out that they couldn't because they didn't have the pieces up front. And if you're not going to give up on Guyton, that's fine. I'm not asking them to. What I don't want the Cowboys to do anymore is reach in the draft at the first pick. Okay, you've done that 2 years in a row. You've reached on a guy that was going to be playing in a scheme that you were not currently playing. You reached on a guy that didn't have a lot of reps at the position that you were going to put. Don't reach. If a guy is a left guard in college, he's going to be a left guard in the pros. Let's not try and make him a tight end. All right, let's bring this guy in and let him be who he is. Yeah. Let his talent flourish. Right now, Guyton, wherever he is, if you listen to the show, man, get in the weight room. Get in the weight room, get stronger, build yourself up, because I think strength was the biggest part of his game that was missing. And when he was in, you could just tell he just wasn't ready for that pro level strength. If they're going to move him out to right, okay, that's yet to be seen. But Terrence Steele, his play has completely dropped from what we've seen over the previous years. And if this new offense, this new regime is believing that the Cowboys can run the ball with the 5 that we saw last season, then how? Like, what are you going to do different with this group of guys unless you mix in another one of those players? Like you said, Arizona has a mix of guys. It's maybe a one in with, but you got to get a dog mentality up front because you don't have it. Guys were catching all season. Teams were taking advantage of them. They were sending blitzes. They were stopping the run. I mean, we come away from games 26 yards in the rushing game.
You're correct. You're Hek'ma. I mean, and I'm not here to sit up here at all and say you're wrong. This is why there has been a coaching change. And this is why you're looking at these three new men here because you had a guy who was committed to throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mad.
Now, I mean, at the end of the day, we think about Ezekiel Elliott and the end of Ezekiel Elliott. When they hired Mike McCarthy, his contract really became a bad contract because you went from a running back who was supposed to be the centerpiece of a team to a guy who wants to throw the football, and his history was always about doing that with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers when he was with the Packers.
Newy,
I
just want to add this last piece. All I'm asking for is execution in the running game. The new coaches – let's execute. That's it. We find out if we're going to stay with Rico Dowdle, what type of run scheme works best for him. Every running back isn't one size fits all type runner.
Ain't on Barkley's.
They. You know what I'm saying? And so, let's find out what this guy likes and let's execute what he does well. And that's what I didn't see last season from the running attack.
And when you're not committed to the run, and let's be honest. Okay, we didn't sugarcoat it on this show. We talked about it, man. This doesn't look good. Run game didn't look good. What you were trying to run out there with these running backs, I mean, didn't look good. You play fantasy football this year.
Yeah.
When did the Cowboy running backs get drafted?
Ooh, if they did, it was late.
and if you play fantasy football and you live here, normally you get like CD Lamb went early, Ferguson, like people. The Cowboys got early in people look at running backs. Yeah,
Waiver wire.
Not the waiver wire.
Right. I mean,
you got him on the bench? Let me get him.
Right. So even fans who just playing games were like, brother,
Touch that.
So figure that out. And I'll switch it into this, okay? We talked before. Ashton Jeanty, who Hek'ma covered in high school from Frisco Lone Star out of Boise State, your Doak Walker Award winner. He could potentially be there at 12. Most people who do this draft ranking thing think Ashton Jeanty is the best running back in the draft. You get a running back of good talent. You see what Saquon Barkley did in Philly, where they went Super Bowl, to the Giants, where he helped this sorry team at least just live. And when he left, you saw it right, fell out of there. Yeah. So a good running back can help your offense, can help your quarterback, can help your defense, because you can run the ball and take time off the clock. I do think they got to get better on the defensive line. But if you tell me they went running back, I would not Hek'ma say, oh, no. Because in some ways, if you do that part right, you can help your defensive line. I still think the defensive line is booty.
Cheeks.
It is cheeks.
Okay? This ain't going to win. But could you sell me this and me say, okay. I mean, Nate Newton. The great Nate Newton, who we all love, won 3 Super Bowls. He's like, yeah, man, Emmett got here, all of a sudden I was a Pro Bowl lineman. Before that, when they was running out Paul Palmer, you too young, Paul Palmer, he was just a guy.
Never heard of him.
Here comes Emmett, Nate.
Paul Palmer.
Body of a couple people next to you.
Yikes.
So it's not that crazy. We saw it with Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott made a difference.
Oh, big time.
And to the credit of the organization, they decided to run the ball. They're going back to that. They're saying, okay, we're going to make it a premium. We're going to figure this out. Austin Richards, who we didn't talk about as an offensive lineman.
Played well.
There's another young man to consider that you put in this thing. So that's why I'm sitting to myself saying, maybe offensive line, the first 2 rounds isn't something you need to do. Maybe you look at what we have. Like a chef, what are the ingredients that I got right here? How do I gotta put some more seasoning here? Do I put this? How do I help put these guys in better position? Because right out of the gate, they're going to go from pass mode to run mode.
Well, you got to have more seasoning in that backfield for sure. I don't know if it's Lowry's.
Just put the whole Obey in
Put
there.
the whole Obey, the voodoo. What you like the
Tony
voodoo?
Sashery,
Put that in
Holy
there, too.
Voodoo, the meat church,
You got
Blanco, white Blanco, whatever you do. Yes,
You got to have seasoning there because when you look at when the Cowboys had their best years, when I was here in 14, we had DeMarco Murray. Sure. We went 16. Ezekiel Elliott showed up. 18. They had Zeke in there balling as well. And you look on the defensive side of the ball. In 14, we was led by Mincy and George Selvey. But we had that on the offensive side of the football where they can take the time they needed. They can own time of possession, and they rested that defense. So all we had to come out there, we was fresh. We was ready to roll. So that's why when you look in the backfield, you got to have somebody that's a little bit dynamic. Nothing against Rico Dowdle, but he was a straight line. My hole is here. I got to go hit this hole. Sometimes you need guys they're not going to follow the coaching exactly right. They're going to look at it, they're going to use their vision, and they're going to make something out of nothing. And that's what I think we were kind of lacking last year in the run game. Where later on in the season, it picked up. Rico, got over 1,000 yards. But when you look at it, we got to have that guy that makes something out of nothing. That'll make guys miss tackles in the backfield. And that's what D-Mo and Zeke, those are great running backs. Don't get me wrong, great running backs. But those are what those type of guys can do to an organization and to an offense. So to me, you got to have a little bit more seasoning back there. So I don't know which way you dice it first. Do you look at the offensive line? Because granted, when we had D-Mo and Zeke, you had Frederick, Zach Martin, the young Tyron Smith. So maybe that had a lot to do with it, but to me, I don't know which way you attack it first.
Didn't have a bunch of spares. You had a bunch of guys that offensive line was what it was. Ezekiel Elliott, he walked into a great situation with an offensive line that was pushing guys to the Gatorade buckets. I'm just saying for a guy like Ashton Jeanty, what you're talking about as far as that vision and ability to break off runs, he has that.
Yeah.
You've seen it at a level at Boise State, and I think you're almost tempted to make that pick at 12, but you need so many other things. So if you bring in an Ashton Jeanty, how effective can he be behind an offensive line that wasn't allowing for even a D-level running back to flourish?
I don't want to make an excuse. I just want us to kind of remember what we saw and what could be this year. You saw a Zach Martin deteriorate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You were expecting another all-pro performance at right guard. You did not get it. He was hurt. He's even talking about not coming back. So that was one spot. Then this next to Zach is a center who's never played it before.
Who played guard?
Who played guard, was an all-American guard at Kansas State. So you put him at center. So he had an adjustment. And there are times when teams were able to take advantage of that. Then you go over to your left tackle. You put a right tackle in college and a left tackle, and he struggled. So you had 3 spots that had warts. BB got better during the year. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we saw with Guyton, there are times they put Austin Richards there. So that's happened last year. That's why I talk about these 3 men here. Your offensive line coach, offensive coordinator, your head coach who want to run the football. That's their job right now, to get in this offseason and say, hey, what is it that we think we can do, what we think we can improve, and how can we get these 2 younger guys better? And, oh, by the way, add Austin Richards into this mix. So maybe it's between Richards and Guyton of what they try to figure out at this left tackle spot. And then the center spot, and this would be a great conversation to have. Do you leave BB there, or do you put BB at right guard, or do you decide to, at some point in time, to address right guard? Do you go in for it? What do you do? You have these are things you've got to try to fix, but that's the job here, especially now as you want to run the ball.
And I think,
to me,
and Newy, I think from just my experience, man, I think that run blocking is easier for offensive linemen. Mm-hmm. It's something that they love to do, running downhill on guys. And when you're a team that doesn't run, you have guys that don't run block well. There really isn't a lot of space to go anywhere else. And so, like I said, the execution for me is give me my 5 best offensive linemen that love to get dirty on Sunday, that love to mow guys down, because that's what I saw last Sunday from Philadelphia. They got to the point, even with Jones over there, mowing these guys down all the way to the second level. We didn't get that type of aggression offensively, whether it was we were playing with a fifth-round guy. None of those. When I think of offensive line, I'm just saying to myself, at the least, you ought to be able to just go straight and put your hands on this guy and open up a hole, or at least give this guy a sliver of room. We didn't have that. And so we could go through those Awesome Richards, we could go through all of those different names, but if we're not putting the 5 best guys out there to give us an opportunity to win, and I know this is just a no-brainer here, no, we're fooling ourselves, man. We're going back to the same thing. We're going to have the same result next year that we had this year.
Do y'all think some of that was forced? But like when you look at just because of the high draft pick in there, because when you had a guy in Hoffman. Now, I'm not saying he's the greatest center of all time, but that was a guy that was nasty, rogue runner, grader. And you could just see when he was on that offensive line, when Cooper Beebe went down or whatever, that guy had some nastiness to him.
He stepped in, did a great job.
Played well. Awesome Richards played well.
All camp.
Like, it's just like
all camp. And I heard you talk about Awesome Richards during camp. You and Nate talking about Awesome Richards during camp. And then when the season starts, they put Guyton back in there.
Like and it's like forced.
And you being a former NFL player, you know where a guy's stock is when he's taken as a first-round pick. You're going to have more rope to fail than another guy would. And they just didn't give Awesome Richards a shot.
And it's a new day. It's a new day talking about the Cowboys' offensive line and a commitment to the run game. And I think we have to start to talk about that when you start to look at hope and say, okay, what happened under the pass under Mike McCarthy that's the past. Because Mike was a passing guy. Now you're going to bring in Brian Schottenheimer, who is committed to the run. And the hires they've made so far tell Cowboy fans, look for the run. I do think the first thing you've got to do is look and say, what is in the toolbox that we have of offensive linemen? Let's look in here. How do you make some of these guys better? How do you put some of these guys in a different position? Weigh that, look at that, then decide to make whatever additions you want to. Maybe it's just as simple as signing. Maybe there's a couple of offensive linemen that are veterans. Think about like a guy like Brock Hoffman. I could easily see Brock Hoffman leaving and somebody else saying, hey, look at a little bit of nastiness. We want that.
Make something.
We want that. So the fact that you're at least saying we want to run the ball changes the mentality from what you had before. And you may value some things differently of what you talked about, Hek'ma. Hey, man, this dude wanted to go in, he wanted to get in the doggone phone booth and fight.
Yeah, that's it.
But if you don't want to fight because you want to pass block, it's a different kind of guy. So that's why I'm very eager to see what it is they do and what the mentality they have. And then with a guy like Guyton, what can he do to get better? Terrence Steele had a rough rookie year, and then he improved in year 2. That's what I'm saying. And I'm not trying to be Newy, happy go guy, but I am just saying this is what you have to do in the league today if you're trying to win. You can't just throw everybody out.
And go back to Philadelphia. People that hadn't even talked about the fact that their star center retired before this season. And that wasn't even something that, I mean, obviously Saquon, let's go back to what Saquon doing in the vision that you're talking about, a guy like that. The hole's not there, it's over here, and his ability to redirect based off of that. But that's a big hole in your offensive line that's missing, that seemingly nobody even missed this dude. Unbelievable.
They was ready. They was ready.
A Hall of Fame center.
Yes.
Gone. And Kellen Moore and company plugged it in. Now, I'm going to just say this real quick. When we talked about Ashton Genty, Hek'ma brings up the great point. Hall of Fame center gone. Outstanding running back there that you didn't miss him because he's got that much talent that you could plug in a guy. Because when you got that much talent, you're going to make that guy look a little bit better.
Yeah.
Now, with Kelsey there, maybe he does break Eric Dickerson's record, but it was doggone good enough to put a ring on your finger.
That's facts.
Because that's what a special running back can do. Lots of great stuff there. They're going to have options in the first round. All right, we got one more break to take. Then we'll get back here and dive into maybe some defensive stuff here. Also, wide receiver. I'm just going to throw this out here because we did it yesterday on the Media Mash. So Hek'ma Harrison, Barry Church, I'm Newy. Let's throw about wide receiver 12. Could you? Would you? Let's dive into it next right here on the Players Lounge, brought to you by Aristocrat Gaming.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Hot mix waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof bags. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like Mama's recipes. Take a steak, cornbread, cobbler's pot pie, and potatoes, and next level with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
Life is a workout, and Smoothie King is here to help you power through. Whether you're maxing out overhead presses, pushing through chest flies, or being the hero your golden retriever needs to carry them over that scary bridge, Smoothie King has the fuel to help you go all out. Build muscle and boost your recovery with 45 grams of protein, 0 grams of added sugar, and delicious customizable ingredients in the Gladiator Smoothie. Available in chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla. Only at Smoothie King.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle.
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Back to the Players Lounge.
The most action-packed motorsport experience in the world returns to Arlington. Head to AT&T Stadium on Saturday, March 8th for Monster Jam. Get ready to cheer, scream, and be amazed as massive Monster Jam trucks take over Arlington. Tickets are on sale now at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing partner of AT&T Stadium.
All right.
Got to take your little man to that.
Players
Man.
It's like that?
It's like that, man. It's so good.
Hek'ma Harrison.
In here.
In the house. Barry Church, former Cowboy safety. In the house, I'm Newy Scruggs. So, we had this conversation on the Media Mash yesterday. Mm-hmm. Cowboys at 12. Now, we've talked about trenches.
Yeah.
Especially considering what Philadelphia did do. Trenches. Trench work. The name Tet McMillan.
From Arizona.
6'5",
He cold,
212.
He cold.
He came to Fort Worth to play. Arizona's not good. Homeboy's still, but he's still getting his. He is a difference maker. And then the conversation was held. Okay, Hek'ma, this is good, right? You talked about don't go draft for need. When you draft for need, you get into the problem. Tet McMillan, if he's sitting here at 12, a lot of people think this is the best wide receiver in the draft. We talked about it with CD in the 80s last year.
Yeah.
If the best player on your board is Tet McMillan and you're sitting here at 12, what do you do?
No, I wouldn't do that. If you had a Joe Burrow at the quarterback position, who we've seen with no offensive line, getting destroyed, but still able to put up crazy numbers and still able to carry his team to the promised land, I would say, okay, go with what you need to make his life easier.
Yeah.
But right now we don't have Joe Burrow at the quarterback position, and to me that means you got to solidify the guys in front. That way he can use that play action. He can use some type of ground game to help this offense be productive. So to me, like I just said, if you had that guy in the back there, throwing the football around, okay, yeah, do that. But right now we don't have that. We don't have that. So
counterpoint that.
Well, the thing is that Jalen Hurts has given me and I'm basing this off of the talent around him. Mm-hmm. He's given me hope that Dak could get it done because of what's around him. You need talent.
You do.
You need talent. And if I can get a guy that can back that safety off of CD, if I can get a guy that can make that nickel corner, not if I can get a guy that changes the dynamic of what defenses are doing to us, then I think that pick is worth it. But you got to be one of those generational kind of talents that come in and you can have an instant impact in the NFL. I'm not opposed to it. I'm telling you, based off of what I see Philly doing and the Commanders doing, we need offensive line, we need defensive line. You got to, all right? And I'm with you, but I'm saying a guy that makes defenses back off. Ashton Genty, again, we don't know what it would be at this level for him. Obviously, outstanding college career. But you have to have guys, you have to put talent around Dak Prescott. He doesn't have a whole ton of talent around him right now.
Let me take both of what you guys have said and kind of mold it into this. If you used your 12th pick on Ted McMillan, this is a draft full of running backs. It's a very good running back draft. So if you took a Ted McMillan, you put him and CeeDee Lamb out there, you go get yourself another running back. We talked before in the last segment about the three men, your Schottenheimer, Clayton, Adams, and then the old D-line, O-line coach at K-State, trying to figure out how you make this group that you have already here of offensive line, how do you make it better?
Yeah, you need talent.
I mean, they figure out how to make the offensive line work with what they've got, maybe add a little bit more, but try to figure out what you got. CeeDee Lamb, Ted McMillan. Let's say you take the kid from Arizona State, or you take the kid from Texas Tech, or you take the kid from North Carolina. I mean, there's a bunch of running backs out here.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe you give Rico Dowdle a little contract here. This does what Hek'ma talked about. Give him some help. Jared Goff for 2 years has looked good because they have given him help.
Along that offensive line.
On the offensive line, at the running back position, at the wide receiver, at the tight end.
Yes, Lord.
Yes, Lord. You think about it.
Yes, Lord, they did.
You got a great offensive line. You got good running back. You've used first-round pick on running back, first-round pick on tight end.
Yeah.
Your second-round pick was used on a wide receiver. Then they took the other cat was good from Alabama. I mean, they've put talent all around him. Jalen Hurts, and what you talk, they've put talent all around him. Here's a Heisman Trophy Award winner, Smith. Here's A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Dallas Goedert is a good tight end. I saw him play San Diego State when he came to Fort Worth to play TCU. I mean, they put talent around, and then you put Barkley. Everybody's doing this. Everyone's doing this.
Yeah, not everybody. So
that's winning champions. That's winning.
Not everybody. Now I love how you looked at me when I was talking about Jalen Hurts and said, like, where you going with this, dog? I'm just saying that's what I'm talking about when it comes down to those teams that are getting to the next level. Look at the Rams and what they're doing. They're able to let go of guys or facilitate trades for other guys because they know the guys that they've drafted, they still have plenty of talent. They, on defense and on offense with Puka Nacua and their running back as well. I mean, so teams are able to bring in quarterbacks or have a quarterback with maybe B-level arm. But, man, if I can get guys around you where you just can't mess this up, we can run the ball. We got an offensive line that can mow you down. Look, that's time of possession. Our defense get out here and they hunt and they can cover up all the warts. Come on, give me that.
You got to have those special pieces. You look at Washington.
Special pieces.
They got a special guy at the quarterback. You got to have
Scary Terry.
But if you don't have a quote-unquote special guy, your job is to go put the pieces around the player. Yeah. And you give the player enough, then you rise the boat. In the case of Jalen Hurts, they put enough around him. And when called to make the plays, the guy in 2 Super Bowls has outplayed Patrick Mahomes in 2 Super Bowls.
This is
true. So give him enough talent, and that's the other thing. If I do this, do that. Don't ask Dak to go be Mahomes and go make guys. Don't ask him to do that.
Hey, and Jalen Hurts showed you that on third down. When everything broke down and he could have made the throw, what did he do? He tucked that sandwich and ran with it. He stuck with what he does best, and those are the things that just kept pushing Philadelphia forward in the Super Bowl. He's pushed them forward through the NFC Championship, through the playoffs. I mean, that talent around Jalen Hurts is the reason why he was the MVP of the Super Bowl.
Next time when we meet, we'll have to dive more into the defense and how you help Matt Eberflus, and clearly he needs a 3 technique. He needs horses.
Second level.
There's a
You need a lot.
And that's the thing about this football team. Despite Dak Prescott saying this week with Troy Aikman at the Children's Gala that they're not that far away and they've beaten these teams.
We're close.
Yeah, close.
Damn.
It's that new opium, baby.
That's packing out. That thing came out of where it came.
You ain't got to touch it. All you got to do is hit it.
That's sad. 20, 35.
That was
35
different. But we'll segue to get to that next time.
That man said, what? That's some hope.
I was like, I hope Barry ain't listening.
I was listening. What?
I ran that soundbite on TV, man. I try not to laugh.
Man, that pack, buddy.
That's different.
On to the Mavericks.
That's different.
Man.
Somebody else telling themselves they close.
Man.
Talk about the Mavericks.
Talk about a pack.
It's been a while.
hell we doing out here?
It's been a wild 2 weeks for me.
Yes, it has. It is wild.
Oh, man.
Thank goodness pitches and catches reported. All right.
Yes.
Hek'ma
Talk
Harrison.
about, baby.
Barry Church, I'm Newy
wild.
Scruggs for Jazz, Chris, Joshy, everybody that makes things happen right here at DallasCowboys.com. Thank you. We'll talk to you next week.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!